Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alfany. Now we're going to begin right here. Ripple put out a few potent tweets, in my humble opinion. We're going to start with this one here from Rosie Rios. All right. Rosie Rios, if you don't know, Rios is the 43rd treasurer of the United States. Now, I know there's a lot of newcomers to XRP. You may not have known that. We have the 43rd treasurer of the United States. Imagine the connections that Rosie has brought with her to all of the dealings that she's going to be and has been involved with when it comes to Ripple. But there's something interesting here. This tweet reads as such: hashtag crypto in 1 minute is back for day 2 with @Rosie Rios, Ripple board member. I forgot about that. She's a Ripple board member also. Ripple board member and 43rd treasurer of the United States, who explains how blockchain technology will enhance global commerce. Now, what was important in this, in my humble opinion, was Rosie gave an example of, I believe it was her son, who built on the blockchain, enhanced his business or started a business, something like that. Watch the little video. Go right to Ripple and watch that video. And he built on the blockchain, and his business has been thriving because of utilizing the capabilities of the blockchain. This is something I've been telling people for a long time. Sure, it's good to hold certain coins and day trade, or whether you day trade or you just invest, right? Invest, you're holding, day trading, you're moving stuff around, trying to, what do you call it? Scalp off the top. But that's good. That's okay. However, there's so many people out there that are business owners, big, small, and yet mostly the banks, the governments are taking advantages of crypto. Why? If you can save a lot of money, if you can enhance your business, if you can tighten up security, there's so many different ways to benefit. And this is what I was saying. And that's why for a long time, I've been iterating that it's important that the youth of today are educated properly on distributed ledger technologies, which you see Algorand has been abiding by that. They're in the universities teaching the youth how to capitalize on the technologies, not just holding the coins, capitalize on the technology. Ripple's in the universities teaching the youth how to capitalize on the technologies. And it doesn't have to just be the youth. Anybody, anywhere, we could all utilize these technologies. There's really no disadvantages to it when you're talking about when you're talking about the bank coins. And this is not financial advice. It doesn't matter to me whether you actually do this or not. OK, I'm just speaking my mind because I thought it was impressive, and I thought that it was potent that Rosie Rios said that her son did the exact same thing that I've been telling people is possible for the longest time. You can take advantage of these technologies yourself to allow your business to thrive. Whether you do that or not is up to you. But I thought that that was a potent little bit that Rosie Rios put into this clip here, because it could inspire others who are small business owners, entrepreneurs, whatever you want to call these people. It could inspire them to utilize these technologies before they listen. Once all the institutions jump in, those prices go up. This is the way that it always is. When the institutions, the NBFIs, the commercial, the public banks, private banks, central banks, and the governments really step in and they take everything over, and they already are giving you signs that that's the way that they're headed. Those prices are going to go up. So like now is the time, really. But hey, I'm just putting my opinion out there. That's all. My humble opinion. All right, everybody, you doing good out there today? I hope you're doing well. I hope everybody's doing well. Is your health good? You've been drinking a lot of water, taking your vitamins, doctor's visits, things like that. In the members only section, I posted a video. You don't have to do anything that I say or anything that I post, but it's a good one. I also, in the members only section, posted a bunch of documents yesterday. Hey, you can do what you want, but I would download those and screenshot those. One of those is very potent. Very potent. Did you read that whole document? Very potent. So that's also there in the members only section. So if you're a member, remember, you got to go over to my channel to get your content there. OK, so now let's continue on here. I want so bad to talk about I was watching this video in this comment section. Here's a random thought, right? Then we're going to get into this next Ripple article. But can you believe it? It was a video on Sylvester Stallone. And you know, Stallone's one of my top action heroes of all time. Hands down, Stallone, Wesley Snipes is up there. Schwarzenegger is up there, obviously. I would throw Bruce Willis in there, but he would be at like the bottom of my list. But Bruce Willis is in there as well. Michael Jai White will be in there. I got a lot of people on my, a few real good people on my top list of action heroes. However, in this comment section, somebody was saying, oh, Stallone is the toughest action star. And then someone else replied and said, wait a minute. Chuck Norris is about to tell you, hold my beer. And I thought to myself, whoa, wait a minute. Come on, how can you say, look, Stallone is great. Stallone is tough. I've heard a lot of stories about Stallone, but it's Chuck Norris. Do you know when they mentioned Chuck Norris, these people went off in the comment section. I mean, they were trashing Chuck. Oh, Chuck Norris is trash. Chuck Norris is weak. Who is saying this? Do they know the legend that Chuck Norris is? That he's a real martial arts champion, respected? He's a legend amongst legends? It blew my mind, man. I don't know. These new generations that I don't know. They're a wild bunch. I'm just going to say that. But much respect to Chuck Norris, one of my favorite martial artists and action movie stars of all time. I even saw him like when he used to do demonstrations at the actual martial arts tournaments. I used to watch that. So no way you can say Chuck is weak or softer. And come on, stop that now. Come on. What do the kids say these days? That's cap. Stop it. That's cap. Said the enemy's going to have to take the victory. You're going to have to show me. You're going to have to literally stomp us into the ground, beat us into the ground, and take the victory. I'm not handing you anything, not even for a second. Most victories are won here first. I treat this just like a fight. Most victories are won in the mind before you even step in the ring. All along the way, I'm saying we're winning, and we have been. But let's continue on here. We have a lot of articles to get through here. Now, I wanted to cover this to show you the banks are in trouble. Listen, those last 3 videos I put out, if you haven't watched them, give them a watch. They've been potent. I've been doing some good research, very deep digging, right? One was about debt. One was about oil, tokenization of oil. And then one was, the crux of it was the banks. I covered that last video from yesterday, covered a whole lot of banks. You know, just ignore the views. YouTube is having a glitch. I already talked to them already. They're trying to work on it and fix it where it literally was decreasing my views. It was unbelievable, but this is actually happening to thousands of content creators. So, but anyway, that was a potent video about the banks that are other banks in the MENA region that Ripple has connections with. And they're healthy banks. We went over the numbers in that video. Healthy banks. I wanted to show you that also, but I also wanted to show, and I didn't really get to it, but we'll get to it in another video, the connections that Ripple has in the MENA region where all that oil money is going to flow. When the tokenization of oil is really up and running, up and flowing, and they're backing currencies and backing digital assets with oil, and it already has been attempted. Watch that other video I put out. It was 2 videos back on the oil. I showed you an example of them trying to do that, but it didn't work. Ethereum doesn't work. The bank coins are going to step in. The bank coins are what's going to win. We're working with all those banks. But anyway, we have an article here. Get a whiff of this. Oh my word. It says here, Swiss Central Bank. I told you about the Swiss bank. Didn't I tell you about the Swiss bank months ago? Remember that? Keep an eye on it. That domino effect is brutal. And then we also cover what is a buy-in. What are the banks talking about when they're talking about buy-ins? Your money becomes theirs if they go under? Sounds a lot like those exchanges, doesn't it? They put the document out themselves. Anyway, says here, Swiss Central Bank incurs $143 billion loss. $143 billion loss. Oh yeah, but the banks are doing so well. Yeah, they're doing great. How many people have to tell you, they're telling you this themselves, by the way. How many people have to tell individuals around the world the banks are not doing well? They don't have liquidity. The fractionalized banking is broken. Then when you talk about the central banks, a lot of what they have has been rendered illiquid. Their monetary policy has been horrible. We covered monetary policy. a great portion of the year. And you read it yourself that the monetary policy is horrible. You even had the head of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, say that the monetary policy has to be better, that they were operating like kids kicking the ball down the road. That's what she said through her own words in a video. So that's a fact. Swiss central bank incurs $143 billion loss. This is terrible. Biggest loss in 116 years. Do you see why they're trying to implement the new financial system? Do you see? They need it. They're doing terrible. Let's scroll down here and read a little bit here. Let's scroll down and just read a little bit, just a little tidbit. Hang in there with me. According to Bloomberg reports, the Swiss central bank, this is a central bank. I told you people, I told you they need the new financial system. They need liquidity. They don't have it. They need that extra capital, access to it. They don't have it. I'm telling you. They can't collect enough gold to move fast enough to compete with the Brics nations. They can't. We're going to get to that a little later. We have chapters involved. If you like any part of this video, I would appreciate it if you click that little like button down below. Thank you in advance. The Swiss central bank revealed a total loss of $143 billion for the financial year 2022. John Morgan, the American financier and investment banker, tweeted informing the Twitter community about the bank's biggest loss in 116-year history. This is unbelievable. An analysis of the previous year's loss of the bank makes it clear that the current loss is quite alarming for the Swiss central bank. This is on coinedition.com, by the way. Feel free to go over there and read it. It's a tremendous article. It says currently the total loss of 132 billion Swiss francs is equivalent to 18% of Switzerland's projected GDP of 744.5 billion Swiss francs. Amid the losses, the central bank declared that it wouldn't make the usual payments to what? Wait a minute. Whoa, this is getting deeper. Amid the losses, the central bank declared that it wouldn't make the usual payments to government and state members. Look at the domino starting to tip. Comparatively, the performance of the Swiss franc has been satisfactory. That I don't care about. Notably, in 2022, the inflation level in Switzerland rose to 3% against Eurozone inflation of 10%. All these numbers are skewed. You're seeing video after video right now floating around on TikTok and YouTube of people showing you where food prices jumped almost $5-6 in their area. Now, some people could say that's corporate greed or something like that, but your government isn't exactly helping, are they? No, they're not. All right. So it's inflation nonetheless. The people still have to deal with that price nonetheless, and your government isn't helping nonetheless. Simple as that. And listen, when they're talking about inflation data, remember, when they're talking about inflation data, they negate what? Energy and food. So the numbers are rigged. Why would you negate those things? No, include those so we can know the actual numbers of what's going on. They literally told everyone this, and they show you that it's negated. It says, apart from these factors, Swiss banks' financial trouble has been rooted in many other issues, including losses in stock. You think the tokenization of stocks and bonds won't help them out? You think that? You think that their access to the unbanked corridors, all those trillions, do you think that won't help? Do you think that they might need a little on-demand liquidity once the bank runs start? When listen, the public doesn't know about this type of stuff. They don't read this type of information. It's not on their mainstream news. No, they're going to be worried about what the celebrity said last week or something like that, or what new movie is coming out, or what new drama. They're distracted. They don't know about this. But if it gets bad enough, they might. And guess what's going to happen if they get wind of this? Bank runs are going to start. Bank runs. That means there are people going to be running to the bank, trying to pull their money out, only to realize that because of fractionalized banking, there's no liquidity, and so they can't get their money. Then what happens, right? So going back full circle, this seems about the time you would need something like on-demand liquidity. At least if you go through this issue, this problem now, in the future, you definitely will want on-demand liquidity or instant liquidity, something to run that money through, a nice liquidity cushion, liquidity pool to run that money through to make sure that everybody can get the money that they need and want at all times, keeping your customers happy and keeping your business afloat. Now, I don't know how they will want to structure that. I think all central banks will have that structure differently, just like CBDC, same thing. Or interoperability, it would have to be structured differently for each individual central bank. depending on their needs. But it's something that Ripple specializes in. Simple as that. You need interoperability between Ripple and your central bank or your CBDC, because who knows who they have building their CBDCs at these different times. Of course, we know Ripple has a bunch, Stellar has a couple, Algorand has a couple, but there's a bunch of banks we don't know about who they're going to be using. But that's what Quant is for. So, I mean, just keep an eye on this. It says, however, due to its gold holding, remember we were covering that, they were buying record amounts of gold. Let's see how that works out for you. Due to its gold holding, the bank managed to gain 400 million francs. That's it? 400 million, that's it. They're in trouble. They're in trouble. Let's move on here. All right. So this is about Algorand, a little bit of Algorand news. They're always doing a good job. I never worry about Algorand. I'm always satisfied with what they're doing. This is on cryptoslate.com. And this was actually, it's titled Algorand Foundation Insights on the Future and Fundamentals of Cryptocurrencies. All right. I want to read this little tidbit. This is impactful. And this is an interview with a high-ranking member of Algorand. And it goes as such. One area where Woods sees potential for growth is in the adoption of cryptocurrencies by institutions. Now you have a high-ranking member of Algorand telling you institutions are going to step in. You had the head of SBI Remit telling you institutions are going to step in. You see the hundreds upon hundreds of banks that Ripple has signed up. You see the deal with Sia Chain, Sia Partners that Quant has done, where Sia Chain and Sia Partners have access to over 500 banks. My goodness, how much more can they tell you? The institutions are about to take over. And when that happens, that price is going to explode, theoretically speaking. It's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and I don't want to be. But theoretically speaking, if the institutions are going to step in and take over the bank coins, if the banks are going to be buying everything up in sight and the non-banking financial institutions, the same, are going to be buying everything in sight, what do you think is going to happen to that price? The price would raise. It would raise a little bit. It would raise it. It would raise a little bit. Raise it though. Got to do it a second time because this is good news. So anyway, it says he notes that while retail investors have been the main users of cryptocurrency so far, I said the same thing. I told you, have been the main users of cryptocurrency so far. He believes that institutional investors will eventually become more involved as they understand the technology and see the potential benefits of using cryptocurrencies. Also, this is happening in conjunction with almost all the legacy systems failing. All the systems have been just crumbling to dust. The banking systems are doing terrible. The governmental systems have been terrible. People question the different things that are going on. And we have voting now on the blockchain where it can't be denied what vote is coming from where, things like that. And this is going on around the world. You see what's going on in Brazil. All right. So, I mean, I think that the DLTs will also be used for things like that. And who are the governments going to trust more if it comes to voting? And listen, well, I was going to say something, but I don't need to go down that road, actually. But who are the governments going to trust more if they go with the decentralized protocol for voting to make sure that voting is everything is accounted for, everything is above board around the world? Who are they going to trust more than the bank coins who are already in deep with governments, who are already in deep with central banks? No one. No one's going to be trusted more than the bank coins. Listen, even though the World Economic Forum is hated, and I don't agree with almost anything that they do, but they put their people in power. That's how they do it. They have presidents everywhere in power, prime ministers in power. That's what they do. They just got actually, I think that the individual that they're protesting in a certain country is also a World Economic Forum member. But even the World Economic Forum backs the bank coins. That's what I'm telling you, right? So, which is interesting because you have Stellar going to Davos soon, but we'll get to that in a second. So it says here, overall, Woods is optimistic about the future of the cryptocurrency industry, despite the recent downturn. He believes the underlying technology and ideology of cryptocurrencies as decentralized, self-sovereign, internet-native tokens of credit is robust. Not that it's okay, not that it's good. He said robust. Appreciate you, sir. Appreciate you, Algorand. Keep doing a good job. All right. Let's move on to here. Oh, yeah. Then you have all these offerings on Algorand just expanding and growing. I'm very interested to see what the future holds for Algorand. I think that price is going to explode, just humbly. That's what I feel. I know I say this a lot, but that's like the thoughts that pop into my head. I'm giving you my thoughts raw. That's what you should want. No sugarcoating or anything. It says drone racing in the metaverse. So, you know, they have their drone racing league, right? IRL, real life, whatever. And now they're going to have drone racing in the metaverse. It says Project Drone Galaxy is coming soon. Of course, they have their Discord here. There's so many people with Discords. My goodness. But it actually looked pretty good. I don't know if this is actual game footage that they had in this little tweet here, this little video attached to the tweet, but it didn't look so bad. So this could be very interesting going into the future. Like I said, I think that the metaverse is going to be big. However, not because of all the different regular, regular offerings, retail offerings. No, I think the metaverse is going to be big because the banks have been talking about the metaverse a lot. The governments have been talking about the metaverse a lot. Real estate developers have been talking about the metaverse a lot. NFT, there's so much attached to the metaverse. But those are the big reasons why I believe it's going to be big. These, offerings like this are just icing on the top. And, we'll keep an eye on this and see how it progresses. Now, let's go here. This is a tweet from Xfinite Official. And this is in correlation with Algorand. It says over 1 billion transactions, 6,000 transactions per second, state proofs, on-chain randomness, and more. That's what building a decentralized entertainment ecosystem on Algorand looks like. So they're building an entertainment ecosystem over here. I like it. I want everything possible, as much congestion as possible on the chain. I want that surge pricing to kick in. If that, I'm not sure. I'm sorry about that. I know Stellar has surge pricing. I'm not sure that Algorand does, but I think all the chains do. When there's a certain amount of congestion, then that transaction price has to go up. As we know, on all these blockchains, transaction fees paid in XRP, they're paid in Algorand, they're paid in Xrp, they're paid in Quant. This is good news, in my humble opinion. So I'll take every good offering possible that can be built on chain. We need as much expansion as possible. So now let's continue on here. This is a tweet from Hbar Foundation, and it goes as such. Global legend A.R. Rahman to launch @official Qatar, the Web3 platform built on Hedera and leveraging Hbar NFTs to help democratize the music landscape. So more music is coming to Hedera. You see how we're dominating. The bank coins are dominating when it comes to music. Algorand, obviously, is the leader out front. You have Dequency, you have LimeWire, you have, was it Napster? Napster? There's so many. They have so many offerings, music offerings on Algorand. I believe Ripple is working on music offerings also, or at least someone who's building on XRPL is working on music offerings also. And now you have Hedera here with this music offering that they're going to be having here. So I like this. This is good, good development. I'll take that music money. No problem. Let's bring that on in. Let the music artists sell their NFTs, which they're selling for a lot of money. It's legit. I like it. I think that at some point, if this continues to be developed, that could be good volume. And it definitely could be some good value. Definitely better than where the price is now, right? So you got Hbar flowing back and forth. I like that. It's very good. So I hope that they continue, and Hedera never disappoints. Similar to that, like I said, Hbar is going to go far. That's the motto. That's the phrase. Whatever that's called. Hbar is going to go far. That's how I feel. Not financial advice, okay? So now we get to Quant. My goodness, Quant is always doing something. They're always trying to take in the banks, and they speak very authoritatively when it comes to banks. I like the fire that Quant has. This is an article posted on quant.network, and it's titled DLT in 2023 Out of the Blocks. This little section here, you scroll down, it says banks and asset managers will scramble to recruit blockchain specialists. And this is another reason why I tell people those timelines are changeable, right? So they're saying 2 to 3 years. Ripple said 4. 2 to 3 was what the Bank of International Settlements is pushing for now. Before they said 3 to 5, but we were already down 1 year, so it'd be closer to 3 to 4 by the old timeline. Now the new timeline, 2 to 3. Ripple said 4. That was in their document. You all screenshotted that, downloaded that, I'm pretty sure. Then JP Morgan said 2 to 3, but like I said, we were down 1 year already, so then that would mean just two left. But that's so fast to teach people how to utilize the blockchain. It's not just about setting up infrastructure. You have to have employees that know how to use the infrastructure. But let me let Quant tell you. So it's not just me saying it anymore. All right. It takes time to educate. That education curve of teaching your employees how to utilize the new technologies, that takes time. It says here, we have already seen established firms like State Street, JP Morgan, and HSBC appoint heads for digital assets and distributed ledger technology specialists as they roll out tokenization projects. 2023 will see these skills increasingly in demand because they don't have enough. They're going to have to train the people, actually, not just hiring people that are already graduates and such and well-versed in this technological aspect of the field, but they're going to have to literally train people because there's just not enough to go around. But let's continue on here. Distributed ledger technology specialists as they roll out tokenization projects. 2023 will see these skills increasingly in demand as financial services firms realize the value of blockchain in enhancing their operations and adding new revenue. I told you there's a lot of money on the table they want to reach out and grab. That's not going to change. That's a fact. No one is going to leave money on the table. I don't know why people feel that way. So let's continue on here. It says, and adding new revenue to their bottom line. The challenge lies in finding the right people. Only about 1% of developers have the specialist knowledge required to work with digital ledger technologies. 1%. Man, I hope they work at light speed. I really do. I don't want this to slow things down. I don't. But this is something to keep an eye on. It definitely is. It says, given each has unique rules and languages. I was saying that earlier. A developer trained in a specific DLT can cost over 100,000 euro per annum. Yet their skills are not always transferable to other DLTs. Is why I was telling people before, a lot of the lay people don't understand that all the different crypto are different. All the different distributed ledger technologies are different. But the mainstream media has everyone believing every crypto is Bitcoin. Every crypto is like Bitcoin and Ethereum. No, they're not. No, they're not. Their formulations are quite different. It says here, but as the world grapples with another recession, financial services, businesses will certainly be examining how to save money. And that's another thing that we bring to the table. We can help them save an exorbitant amount of money. If implemented correctly, blockchain could save billions. Oh, so he's telling you himself. Blockchain could save billions in infrastructure and associated IT costs, despite the upfront hiring and partnership spending. So once again, this article is on quant.network. Okay. It is very, very potent if you want to check this out here. Okay. So now let's move on to another article here. So now we're going to get on to a little bit of regular news, right? A little bit of stock news. Let's read this here. This is from devdiscourse.com, devdiscourse.com. And it goes as such. Global markets, stocks rise, bond yields rise with December's upcoming price data in focus. The US dollar was little changed versus the euro and other major currencies, hovering close to its weakest level in 7 months as investors positioned themselves ahead of the December consumer price data due on Thursday. US Treasury yields, look, and that's another reason why you see everything going up a little bit, or at least you saw everything going up. I didn't check the markets today, really. But when the dollar is weak, everything goes up. When the dollar is strong, it crushes everything else, which simplifies making money in certain sectors. Trust me on that. You know, when the dollar is strong, something else is going down. But sooner or later, that dollar is going to come down. The thing is going to go up. Boom. You might make a little money. I don't know. I'm just saying. It's just, that's just my humble opinion. All right. Now, U.S. Treasury yields rose as investors prepared themselves for how inflation numbers might influence the Federal Reserve's interest rate hiking path, as it has been prioritizing its fight against decades-high inflation. Yeah, Better do a little bit more. The S&P 500 was gaining ground on Tuesday after a volatile morning while Treasury yields rose as investors waited anxiously for U.S. inflation data due later in the week. The U.S. dollar was little changed versus the euro and other major currencies, hovering close to its weakest level in 7 months as investors. Okay, so we read that part at the top already. They just reiterated. U.S. Treasury yields rose as investors prepared themselves for how inflation numbers might influence the Federal Reserves. Okay, they're reiterating again. I don't know why. Why do article writers do that? They write it at the top, then they have the header, and then they reiterate. The U.S. Consumer Price Index, CPI, is expected to show December's headline inflation at 6.5% versus 7.1% in November. Is that so? Oh, man, we'll see. We'll see, but I'm just finding it very difficult to believe any of the numbers that are being put out. I really am. I don't know. Something seems off in my experience, in my humble opinion, and I could be wrong. All right. Quote, generally, the markets are waiting for this Thursday CPI print coming out for December. It will probably be the biggest data point for the week and certainly give us some clarity. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 135.62 points or 0.4% to 33,653.27. The S&P 500 gained 21.57 points or 0.55% to 3,913.66. And the NASDAQ composite added 88.16 points or 0.83% to 10,723.81. Pan-European Stock 600 Index lost 0.59%. And MSCI's gauge of stocks across the globe gained 0.22%, but was still below its more than 3-week intraday high reached on Monday. Now, this is an extensive article. Holy smokes, they jam-packed this article. It's very, very good. Once again, you want to read the rest of this article here. It's on devdiscourse.com. So, we'll be on the lookout for that data coming out. It will tell a lot. It definitely will be significant. And it'll let us know where the markets are going to be moving. It can give you some insight into what the Fed may do. But at the same time, the Fed has been so unpredictable and flip-floppy. It's very difficult to know what the Fed is going to do. In my humble opinion, they should have kept it 75 basis points until they bring inflation down. That's important, people. My goodness. Hey, listen, they can do what they want. I suppose the people don't seem to have a problem with what the Fed is doing. I beg to differ, of course. But let's continue on to another article here. So now a little bit of corn news, right? This is from financialpost.com. And it goes as such: corn rebounds from 3-week low on technicals, an Argentine drought. We were reading about this a little bit. We covered an article about this a little while ago. U.S. corn futures ended mixed on Tuesday after a technical and bargain buying bounce from 3-week lows faded as dull demand for U.S. exports overshadowed concerns about Argentina. That's what happened. Dull demand for U.S. exports overshadowed concerns about Argentina's drought-reduced harvest. Soybeans ended mostly lower while wheat fell to its lowest in 15 months on good global supplies and weak demand for U.S. shipments. Well, it's getting interesting, folks. Gain traders are squaring positions ahead of U.S. Department of Agriculture crop data on Thursday. Chicago Board of Trade corn settled up 2 1/4 cents at $6.55 a bushel after earlier touching a 3-week low of $6.48 and a quarter. And 1/4. Sorry about that. My apologies. Okay. My apologies. Calm down. All right. The benchmark contract broke through technical chart resistance at its 20 and 30-day moving averages, but buying stalled as prices failed to rise above the 50-day moving average. We just keep our eye on these things. March soybeans are 3.5 cents lower at $14.85 a bushel. CBOT wheat ended 10.5 cents lower at $7.31 a bushel. We just keep an eye on it. This is nothing new. We've seen it before. And, like I said, when that data comes out, we'll know a lot more. So it's just a waiting game, really. And hopefully some problems get solved. And let's move on here because I want to get to the gold news here. We have a little bit of gold news here. So now for a little bit of gold news, because gold makes me happy. It does. I don't know why. I just love it. I love gold. And oh my goodness, the potentiality for the future of gold. Just my humble opinion. This is not financial advice. It doesn't mean for you to go run and buy gold or such like that. I just personally enjoy gold. I enjoy gold, silver, and a couple other things. Don't worry about it. A couple other things I enjoy as well. Bank of America sees gold over $2,000 an ounce in coming months. Come on. Like, I hate when these big, like every professional has come out and they've made their estimations and called for gold to be over $2,000. For months, we've covered this. I'm talking about the real pros. And here comes Bank of America. Oh, yeah, we're $2,000. Like, we could have told you that. All the experts have already called for that. And I agree that there's definitely the possibility you have a recession. I think I call it more of a depression, in my humble opinion. It's more of a light version of a depression. With all the mass layoffs, come on now. There's been so many layoffs, it's ridiculous. And even to the point where they're reporting almost every day on even the blockchain companies laying people off left and right. Amazon laying people off left and right. Facebook laying people off left and right. Come on now. This is like a light version of a depression. In my humble opinion, I could be wrong and you could disagree. That's okay by me. Have your own opinion. That's perfectly fine. But you have these companies like Bank of America come out and act like they're superheroes because they make these particular predictions that clearly their advisors who are in the gold industry have heard all the experts say this already. So it's not like it's an original idea. Anyway, let's read this little tidbit here. It says gold is currently around its highest level in 8 months at $1,876 an ounce, prompting gains in the share price of leading North American precious metal miners such as Newmont and Barrick Gold. So now let's go on to this next article here, all right? This one is interesting. This is on unheard.com, H-E-R-D, unheard.com, all right? And it's titled, China Undermines. Why did they put that in the title? Wait a minute, because the actual title down here, that's in the search bar. The actual title here is Brics Undermine Dollar Hegemony with Gold Purchases. Central banks have been accumulating the precious metal at a record rate. I've been telling everybody for months, haven't I? We showed you the actual articles. These central banks are buying record amounts of gold. Why? In that last video, I had an article. I don't know if I covered it in that last video. I think I did. But there was someone in one of those articles that was talking about the possibility of the United States moving back to a gold standard. It was in that last video, I believe. Anyway, there's a lot going on, everyone. A lot going on. Keep your eyes open and stay on your toes. It says just before the new year, Financial Times ran a piece noting that central banks were accumulating gold at a rate not seen in 55 years. We read that one, didn't we? We read something like that. In the third quarter of 2022, analysts estimate that almost 400 tons of gold, we got in at a low, by the way. Oh, it's looking real good. That almost 400 tons of gold were bought by central banks. That much gold would take around 16 semi-trailer trucks to transport. Oh, that's a lot of gold. Makes me want to get some more, but yeah, we got in at a low. We already got a good amount, so yeah, we'll wait. In November, traders in the gold market noted, well, I mean, I do believe it's going higher, but I believe it could come down first. I do believe it. When that dollar gets strong again, it's going to crush everything again. So we'll see. We'll play it by ear. I stay adjustable. Okay? In November, traders in the gold market noted that there was a huge buyer entering the market and purchasing very large volumes of gold, a so-called whale. In December, it was revealed that this whale was the Chinese central bank. They're getting ready. Digital assets backed by gold, CBDCs backed by gold. I'm telling you, the BRICS nation said they want their currencies backed by commodities. And it looks like gold is it for China. But it wasn't just the Chinese buying gold. Other buyers include Turkey, India, Uzbekistan, Egypt, Qatar, and Iraq. It is worth noting that many of these countries have expressed an interest in joining the BRICS alliance. Keep your eye on what's going on over there, everyone. This is going to get interesting in the next few years. It says, why are central banks snapping up gold? Most commentators recognize that it is due to geopolitical turmoil. Is that so? All their financial infrastructures have been doing very poorly. The fiat currency system, I believe, is at an end. All good things come to an end. Everything that has a beginning has an end. Change is the only constant, so one would do well to get familiar with change. And a change looks like it is coming. So it says here, Jonathan Guthrie at the FT, for example, argues that gold is the currency of fear and mistrust. All right. And that it's a safe haven. It's a safe haven. And that, quote, the democratic West and the authoritarian East are pulling apart amid mutual recriminations. Guthrie is certainly correct that a geopolitical schism is taking place. Everybody can see that. But since when is gold the currency of mistrust? Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I'd say it's a safe haven. It's where everybody goes so they can protect their value. And you make a little bit of money on top, of course, as everything goes up. Throughout history, gold backing has been used to buttress trust in currencies. Of course, when sterling was the global reserve currency, it was said to be good as gold. All right, so now if you want to read the rest of that article, like I said, this is a very, very potent article here. It's on unheard.com. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.